What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS, here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for the ugly. And this shit is ugly. 5-game NBA slate we got today. Still got, of course, some DFS plays and things for us to go over. Maybe a couple prop plays and things like that. With that being said, if you guys are new here, make sure you guys go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the free content that we're putting out over here on the channel. And drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos, content, anything is making you guys some money. Now, quick recap of yesterday. Yesterday's slate was one of the wildest, very bizarre in regards to like injury news just coming out left and right and stuff. A lot of adjusting, a lot. I was in the middle of making my player pool and stuff yesterday. I was working to put it up for the Patreon, which, speaking of, as you can see, got it up here on the screen. If you guys want to join the Patreon, the link for that is down in the description. We got a $5 sub right there. Go ahead, click that $5. Support your boy over here for all the hard work I'm putting in for you guys. Check it out. It comes with my player core, which you can see right here. If you played this core, if you were on this core right here, you did not do bad at all. Brunson, of course, I helped with him going to OT. Dyson Daniels, he went out there, he did his thing. Got off of Bogdanovich, which is why, if you're subbed, I said, coming off of Bogdanovich, playing Keaton Wallace instead. Got off of that. And of course, had Wallace. And then I ended up having to get off of Gafford. That was on my own doing just because of the Joker news. When that came out, I had to adjust for that. But there was no need to tell anybody to go ahead and get off of that because your own feelings was your own feelings. And honestly, if you played this right here, you were good. You were golden. You had Brunson, he was up there for 50 plus fantasy points. Dyson Daniels made it up there to 37, almost 40. Gafford, he broke the slate practically out there. And then Keaton Wallace, you had to have Keaton Wallace. That value right there was just there. It let you pay it for Wemby, Giannis. If you ended up on Joker like that, if you played my boy Porzingis, you went with Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. It let you get so many different ways you could have built yesterday. The core did its thing. And of course, you know, like I've been saying, give you guys that player pool over here. And again, more notes for you guys. So you want to support the channel, you want to support your boy, link for that is down in the description below. But quick recap of how we did yesterday. As you can see, I did cash myself. Again, like I said, that late news, the pivots and stuff, Draymond Green being out, those were pivots and stuff that I had to make on my own just because I had salary. I had things I had to adjust inside of my line, but was able to make it into the cash, the winner circle last night. 55th place in my contest, $200. I'll take it any given day. I put out a slip yesterday over there for FanDuel. This Bigfoot ass mofo could not get me 15 points. Everyone else hitting the slip that I had. Scotty Barnes, 15 points. KP, 15. Vooch was the only one. Just needed 15 from him. Giannis, he got those 10 rebounds. Shangoat, he went out there, got his 8. Julius Randle looked scary in the beginning because the Warriors was putting belt to ass versus the Minnesota Timberpups. And he eventually got there, 17 points. All we needed was one lousy point from Vooch. Couldn't get it. But either way, those props that we're putting up over here, it's looking good. Not bad. Couple of hooks, couple of ones that just missed. But yeah, Bam, he's officially banned. I'm not playing Bam anymore. I'm tired of betting on him. I'm tired of he's in a good matchup, good spot, things like that. The metrics, everything looks good for those plays, and then he just goes out there and he flops, he kills me. So you don't have to worry about seeing Bam Adebayo over here on the channel. Not even touting him. Maybe talk about him in DFS, but just about how much I hate him. Other than that, yeah. Good times. We're going to keep them trying to rolling over here. Like I said, today is an ugly slate. I really don't necessarily like it. Some injury news, of course, stuff that's up in the air and things like that for the day. We got some... we got a rematch of the Thunder taking on Cleveland, which... let's just go ahead and go through the injury news. All right. Indy taking on Detroit. Really no news over here for Detroit, but for Indy... Mathurin, he's out. He has that 1-game suspension. Halliburton, for whatever reason, is a game-time decision now. He missed the last game. I am kind of confused on why he's even a game-time decision possible to play. If Halliburton is back, then of course we're going to have to look at him if he's not limited or anything like that, because this should be a fast-paced game between both the Pacers and Detroit. This could be definitely one of those spots where we could see both, Halliburton, Cade, be able to pop off something like that. But if Halliburton is out and then Nesmith, I highly doubt that they would start him. Definitely would expect him to play off the bench. But if we do get like a Obi Toppin or Jarris Walker put into the starting lineup, either way, Jarris Walker, that's going to be some pretty good value right there for us, just depending on what this starting lineup looks like. So I really do want to get that news because you guys know I talked about Jarris Walker a couple times over here on the channel. If you guys have been watching for a while, you guys know I do love his upside whenever he's someone that we can consider and play over there. For the Phoenix Suns, Nick Rich, I don't, but yeah, okay, cool. He's out. I wouldn't expected him to play today anyway, because he just got the whole thing done with the trade and whatnot. But the big news for them is the fact that Bradley Beal, he's out. So that usage and everything they were having coming off the bench, that the high upside we're getting, is definitely going to be falling on the shoulders of Devin Booker, Kevin Durant. And I actually think this is going to give a boost to our guy, Tyus Jones, who is playing against his former team from last season, the Washington Wizards, who they only got Bagley, Sadiq Bey, and Brogdon. They're still out. All the guys are pretty much back for the Washington Wizards, so nothing that we got to worry about over there in that aspect. Cleveland taking on OKC. Ty Jerome, doubtful to play. He's still sick. The OKC Thunder, we're rolling. We're playing good, but something just always has to happen. Hartenstein, he's out for a while, something with his calf or his foot, so it's going to be interesting to see what we do. We have seen it before where we didn't have any bigs because, of course, Jalen Williams, the other one, the center, was out, but he's back. So it's going to be interesting to see how we actually play. This is going to be, I think, a tougher matchup going up against the Twin Towers over there in Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, but definitely something that we have some value right there with Jay Will hopefully getting a start. For the Clippers taking on Portland, Terrence Mann, game time decision expected, possibly. Maybe we could see him back playing some minutes or not. I'm not too sure on that one. Kawhi Leonard, he's already been ruled out. He's going to be out. Over here for Portland, again, dealing with a whole bunch of injuries for these guys. Denny Avdia, doubtful to play. Klingon, he's already been ruled out. Grant is out. Tybalt is out. And Time Lord, Robert Williams is out. So you guys know that means that DeAndre Ayton is going to have to be in play because they're short on centers. And I did say this before on the channel. I would not play DeAndre Ayton if Robert Williams, Kling, if they're available to play, I'm not messing with Ayton. I actually have to look Ayton's way now because they're pretty short and thin over there at the center spot. For the Houston Rockets taking on Sacramento Kings, which I actually really do like this game. I think that there's some upside with the players over here. Tari Easton, doubtful that he's going to play. Landale still out. Jabari Smith Jr., we know he's out. Over here on the Kings side, Monk expected to be back. That's really all that we need over there for those guys right there. Head on over to DraftKings, the site I played most on the site. If you guys don't got an account, you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys get that deposit match bonus. Enjoying your boy over here on the King. This slate is really ugly to me. Again, I really do feel like the best game is going to be this late night game between Houston and Sacramento Kings. But you know, we've seen crazier things and stuff happen on slates. Of course, there's some news that we need to break. We don't have a Giannis, we don't have a Joker, we don't have Wemby, things like that for us to necessarily pay up for. Our high spend players are Shea, Kate Cunningham, which rightfully so, good players, decent salary, stuff like that we can look towards, possibly going towards on the day. But definitely going to be some choice to be made because we have decent value on the slate, period. The value is there. It's a matter of how you're going to figure out building your lines and stuff like that for today. Phoenix, Washington, looking at this game. Of course, we are going to have some interest on the Phoenix side. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, I don't have to talk about them. They're killing it right now. They're going up against one of the worst teams in the league in regards to defense, fast pace that they play, all that stuff. If you need or talking into of trying to play these guys, I wouldn't even mind playing both of them in the same line. Like I said, we got tons of value over here on the day. But besides those two, Tyus Jones, 4,300 going up against legit his former team. We've seen it. We've attacked it consistently throughout the season. But guards going up against Washington, it's been a thing. Poole doesn't play any defense. Carrington, he's all right. All those young guys that they got over there. But Tyus Jones, 4,300. The dude's been very on and off. In his last 5 games, we see that he can at least go out there and get us 27.5 fantasy points. It just depends on what kind of night he's having. No Bradley Beal being there. I do feel like his minutes could possibly get up there to that 30 minutes range. Things of that nature for him over there. When you're looking at the guards that they have over here without Beal being there, of course, you got Grayson Allen off the bench, Monty Morris, Washington Jr., Lee, but really it's going to, the usage and everything over here for Phoenix is very concentrated between Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal whenever he was out there on the court. Tyus Jones, he picks up that sprinkle because they really don't care too much in regards to Plumlee, Nurk. You see he's out of the rotation. Wait for Nick Rich to get in over there, things like that. So I really do feel like there's an upside for us looking at Tyus Jones, 4,300, going up against one of the worst teams in regards to defending guard position. No Bradley Beal. So I can see a bump, a couple more shots or something like that for him. So I definitely do like it and think that that's the spot we can go to. If you think Plumlee can do something, since of course no Nurk, play out there about 25 minutes, we have attack with opposing centers going up against Washington. The only issue is that he just doesn't offer anything, especially offensively. He's really out there for his defense, what he can do, rebounding the ball, things like that. go for it. I would still go ahead and take my chance with Oso. I know that his minutes definitely are up and down. If he actually can get a shot to fall, he can definitely put up a decent fantasy point number. Someone I would consider, but of course, I got Jarvis Walker on the slate, and I'm really eyeballing looking that direction for my value. Not really too interested in trying to focus and force someone that doesn't need to be in the line. But definitely those big two over there, Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, main two that we want to focus on, look at over there for them. And then, of course, that sprinkle of that Tyus Jones. Definitely consider him as a value play for today. On the Washington Wizards side, pretty much everybody's back over here for them. On the other side, I mean, Phoenix are not necessarily beating anybody out of the water. They're losing gimme games that they should be getting. This is definitely the easier part of their schedule. Hopefully they can figure it out and click together some wins, because right now, they're looking like they need to offload some people. Wouldn't be surprised if Devin Booker gets traded in the offseason or asked out or something like that. A couple of teams could use a star. One of them, they're on the slate right here, Houston. They could use another player down over there. It's just crazy what they got going on. But Poole, Kuzma, Sar, those would be the guys I wouldn't mind, of course, looking at over here. Alex Sar is actually starting to come into his own, playing pretty well throughout this stretch of games. You look at it, 2 out of his last 5 games, he's put up at least over 30 fantasy points. Then the other 2, at least right there in those mid-20s. But looking at the matchup going up against OKC, definitely understand that 22.5 fantasy points. Game was a blowout, was a wash right there. And then the Houston Rockets, 17.25 fantasy points, not great at all. Going up against Chicago Bulls, 27.75 fantasy points, over a fantasy point per minute in that game, playing only 26 minutes versus Minnesota, who you would see as a tougher matchup for him. Went 3 of 5 from 3, definitely was able to stretch the floor in that game. 28 minutes, 33.25 fantasy points. So that upside is definitely there for him, especially going up against a drop big in Plumlee out there. Could see him possibly be able to stretch the floor and do a couple of things out there. So I do like that upside for him. Then outside of that, Carlton Carrington, 4,400. Dude's kind of like a little hidden value down here, definitely coming into his own. The upside is there. Another value play. Again, like I said, you got Tyus Jones though, pretty much priced right around the same price. Would rather get to there. If you're not trying to play Poole, you're not trying to play Kuzma, definitely think Washington, they could possibly keep this game close. So definitely some options and some choices right there. It's always going to be a GPP if you want to mess with Valanciunas, just because he is splitting the time with Sar. He's only going to play roughly right around that 20 to 22-ish minutes if they give it to him. Outside of that, not really going to force too much over there from the Washington side. Indiana Pacers. This is the one we have to get some news. Halliburton with that groin. He's questionable. I would be honestly just shocked if he's back today. Like, that would really just... The way they made it seem was like he was going to miss some significant time. So if Halliburton's in, 8,400, definitely in contention for play. Only played 18 minutes versus Cleveland, but before that, he was balling. He was hooping out there. Going up against 4 out of his last 4 games, besides the one where he got injured, only played those 18 minutes, 48, 45, 42, 53. So the upside is definitely there for him, 8,400. I do like it. If he was to be out, then of course we are going to be turning our eyes, looking towards Siakam, back to Nemberhard, go towards Miles Turner. These are going to be the guys we're going to want to focus on and go right back there, especially without Bennett Mathurin being ruled out for that suspension. There's more shot attempts to go around right there, more rebounding upside and things like that. That's why I really do have my eye on, especially if Hallie is out, Siakam. Love Siakam here in the spot. He's definitely showing and looking a little bit like Toronto Siakam with all that usage that he was having over there. 40.25 in that game without Halliburton, going up against Cleveland, where it was a big part in regards to them actually coming back in that game. 37 against Cleveland in the first one, Golden State 38.25, Chicago Bulls 38.5. So the upside is definitely there. The shots looking pretty good for him. He's definitely out there chucking up a couple more threes and stuff. The rebounding, he's actually rebounding, going for those things like that. So I do actually like him here, 7,200. That's kind of a nice mid-tier option play that we can get. And then again, like I said, if Halliburton is ruled out, those shot attempts and everything that's going to be there, definitely would look towards Miles Turner as well as another play that you can get to. Now, the big question becomes, if Halliburton is out, or if they decide that they want to start Jarvis Walker for Mathurin. If you have not watched enough, I have talked about the upside of Jarvis Walker continuously over here on this channel. And if they announce him as a starter, do not question why the dude's going to be over 40% owned, because he's a great player when he's out on the court. Definitely a high motor, can play some pretty good defense out there, will rebound the ball, definitely will look to take his shot. He's aggressive whenever he is actually getting those shots. And if they're falling, it's just going to be printing us some money right there. So definitely look at Jarvis Walker, even if he's not going to start. Definitely will be some minutes to go there at that forward position with Mathurin being out already. Neesmith, if he ends up just being downgraded to doubtful or out, the upside is going to be there definitely to look towards Jarvis Walker. And then, of course, Hallie's out again. Then we're going to be looking towards CJ McConnell off the bench. Nemberhard, he's going to run those point guard duties. So as soon as you get the whiff, if Hallie's going to be out, Look towards Nembhard again for those assists. You could definitely ladder that up. If the books got it right now that they think that Halliburton's going to be in, then you're going to be getting a steal right now for Nembhard's assist currently, just straight up out the gate. That one game where he didn't have Halliburton out there had 9 assists, and that's typically what he's going to go out there and average right around is going to be 7 to 8 assists without Halliburton being out there, because he is the de facto point guard without him. On the Detroit side of things, I don't have to talk up Cade. Cade's just been playing amazing, unbelievable. If you haven't seen the podcast that he did with Funny Marco, I would definitely check that out. No, not sponsored or anything by Funny Marco or whatnot, but it was actually pretty funny watching him do a little interview thing over there. It was pretty cool. 10-3, don't got to talk about it. Definitely one of the studs I wouldn't mind paying up for on today's slate. Outside of Cade, definitely think that we could possibly look towards Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr. Both these guys, they're out there. They're checking up some shots. Tim Hardaway versus Toronto, went out there 32 minutes to drop to 39.25 fantasy points, came back down to earth going up against New York. But this is another game and spot where we know the pace is going to be fast. The pace is going to be fast. He's going to be able to go out there and check up and look for his shots. Not bad. He's starting. He's getting over 30 plus minutes. If the shot is falling, I say it time and time again, minutes equal production. That's all going to depend on what is the player out there doing. If we can get a good hot shooting night from him, I don't mind it. Has played them already twice, of course, this season with 29 and 27 minutes in those games. Gave us only 20 and 16 fantasy points, so a little bit less than desired, but still the upside and the possibility is there for him, so I don't mind looking his direction and his way. Outside of that, it would just be a sprinkle of maybe Amen Thompson. Is this a min or a sore? Sir Thompson would be one I would possibly look towards as a GPP option or something like that, just because his minutes has still been flunky and just all over the place. But no one else really sticks out over here. You could take a chance on Dern, but not really feeling him on today's slate, especially with the value that we actually have at the center spot. Cleveland taking on the Thunder. This right here is interesting just because of course, this is a rematch. We know that the bigs, they went off going up against us the last time. We held Donovan Mitchell in check. Darius Garland, he went out there. He had a pretty decent game as well. It was really those bigs, Allen and Mobley, went out there and had a great day. With Hartenstein not being out there, I do know that the Thunder, and we've done it in the past, we've gone small. I'm not sure if we would be able to do that necessarily here in the spot. I like Jared Allen for those two reasons. One, no Hartenstein for him to have to deal with. He should be able to play bully ball, be able to do whatever he wants to do. And definitely can see him getting a good chunk of assists, just simply because we won't have the exact style and type of big to be out there. And knowing the Thunder, however we play, whenever we do have to go small, they're going to collapse in on the paint. That's going to lead to some kickouts. When you have shooters like Max Strus, you got shooters like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, even Evan Mobley right there. That gives you some room in regards to you actually being able to, knock down those shots and rack up those assists as a center or your other option at the power forward, Evan Mobley. So definitely just a little thing to think about right there for it. I'm not going to chase the Max Strus big game that he had going up against us last time. I will say still Jared Allen, GPP option, but really does have the matchup for us. Can definitely see him going out here getting another double-double because we do not have the size to actually deal with Jared Allen. And I mean, even then, even with Hartenstein being out there, opposing centers have actually been playing very well versus us. Yabusele in that crazy game with Philly dropped 32.75 fantasy points versus us. Karl-Anthony Towns 39.5, Porzingis 32.25. Towns in both games dropped. First game he dropped 57. Second game he dropped 40 fantasy points versus us. So the upside is still there for opposing centers, especially when you don't have your main center out there. I definitely could see it. Donovan Mitchell, Garland, both those two, just because we can defend the guard pretty decent, they're going to be GPP options for me. And then I really do actually like Evan Mobley. Played very well versus us, looked very aggressive, and I think he's going to do the exact same thing again. He's going to try to do what he can do to defend that right there. On the OKC side of things, I don't have to talk up Shea. Shea is literally a walking 45 to 50 fantasy point player. That's it. Outside of that, Dub is going to have to do a little something here in this spot and in this matchup. He's definitely going to have to be Shea's Robin in this if we want to actually beat Cleveland this time on our home court. Looking at it, honestly, this should be some rebounding upside for him, especially with no Hartenstein being out there. Versus Cleveland the first time, he dropped 52.25 fantasy points, so the upside is there. He definitely can go out here and repeat, do it again. I don't mind him. I actually do like him for his points today. I know I took him over there on the books for over 17.5 on one site. Can't remember if it was DraftKings or FanDuel, but I do like him out there to go at least get about 20, maybe 25 points to be pushing it, but at least 20 points here in the match just because we are going to need him. That scoring is definitely going to be very much key. Outside of that, of course, the other Jalen Williams, he's a fantasy point per minute producer when he is out there on the court. I do expect for him to start, kind of expected. I mean, you look at his game logs, you can see it. He's a stretch big. He's not your typical big. He definitely can pass the ball. He can play some defense. He typically will draw charges versus trying to block your shots and things like that. But the upside is definitely there for him. Don't mind both Jalen Williams here in the spot, like I already said with Shea. Outside of that, Queso should get the start versus the Cavs. If I'm not mistaken, he has actually kind of been very consistent in regards to getting those starts and stuff over the last several games. But if they start Aaron Wiggins, I don't mind looking towards that right there as well. Lou Dort, GPP option. And then Alex Caruso came back that last game, played 18 minutes. Do think that if they decide they want to run small, put Jalen Williams at the J-Dub at the center spot. We have seen Caruso play that power forward position for us for a couple of games, especially when we were down bigs. So the upside could be there for AC to get an extended run and some minutes. And that's just another defender that we have to throw at Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland out there. So definitely a sneaky value play right there if you think that AC could be out there for extended run and minutes. Houston taking on Sacramento Kings. Like I said, to me, this is the best game on the slate when it comes down to it. Houston, they did their thing last night going up against the Denver Nuggets. And I said it several times on the stream. Very high on Jalen Green. The kid has been balling, has been playing very well, knocking down a ton of threes, looking very aggressive, looking very spry, actually dishing the rock too. I watched that game last night versus Denver. It was very good, at least from the Houston perspective. And it's crazy to say as a Thunder fan, giving Houston some props. They're doing pretty good, especially right now. Jalen Green, he's looking like what a lot of people are saying. Hey, trade for Devin Booker, get an actual all-star. But Jalen Green, he a scorer. He can do his thing. Now, Jalen Green, I definitely, of course, go right back to him. Don't mind him here in the spot going up against the Kings. Not scared of Monk or De'Aaron Fox defense. I expect this honestly to be a type of shootout type game, and this should be one of those things that Jalen Green can excel in again. Now, another play that I was on last night, I played a small ladder on it. Didn't play as much as what I wanted to play on it, and I will run it back again today just because he has been pretty consistent in regards to knocking down his threes. Laddering Jalen Green's threes. Last night he hit for 6. I laddered him up to 5. I took him for 3 was my base, 4 for the next level, which was plus money, and then 5 was plus money again. I will do the same thing again here today, just because a lot of his shots, he is taking a ton of threes when he's out there. He's getting to line, things like that. Love the upside for him right there. Outside of that, Amin Thompson, since he's starting, the dude's been killing it. I want to say they're 9-1 since he's been out there starting. 35 minutes last night, looking aggressive. He's looking for those rebounds. He is rebounding very well out there, but he's actually starting now to look for a shot, cutting to the rim, things like that, and they're finding him. You're seeing that chemistry going up against the Kings team who has De'Aaron Fox, who we know can be a little bit turnover prone, Sabonis, who can get a bad pass, things like that. I don't mind him. Definitely do see the upside in regards to the steal upside again here, all right, here for him. And if he just comes along with the scoring, that's going to be even better. 8,100, rightfully so. Like I told you guys, he was going to be eventually up into that mid-tier, high 8K range, and we're starting to see it for him. Will be another player I will look to. I'm really not too interested in Dylan Brooks. Probably the only one truly that I would have to put on a fade list for me from the Rockets, just because since Amin has been in the starting lineup, Brooks has not looked good at all, especially since he came back from injury. I would have to say I do have a sprinkler interest in Cam Whitmore off the bench. As you guys see last night, 24 minutes. He's getting the minutes again. 24 minutes, dropped 33.25 fantasy points. The dude is a hooper. He can score. Definitely can knock down the 3. He has a good shot. Might be trying to boost his trade value because, again, you kind of got a little bit too much talent over there for him. I would be floored if they ever decide to take Dylan Brooks out the starting line and put Cam Whitmore in there in a spot. I don't think it would be bad. Definitely would give you a good two-headed monster with Cam Whitmore and Thompson being your primary point of attack defenders in that starting line. That would be really interesting, honestly, to tell you the truth. Outside of that, Şengün, 8,900. GPP option for me. I don't mind it at all. Going up against Sabonis, not the greatest defender in the world. And then Freddie V, again, I just got more interest in Jalen Green, who's 100 less, and just the upside is there for me for him. On the other side, Sacramento, Sabonis, I don't have to talk him up. If you want to fit him, you want to get to him, you definitely can go there. But I will say I really do like De'Aaron Fox instead over here in this position and spot. Opposing guards, we saw it last night. Jamal Murray, he was out there, was one of the ones that was actually playing very well going up against them. Fox should be able to go out there and do the same thing. Again, ball's in his hands. He's hooping, taking a ton of threes. He can still play make out there. He can also play some pretty good defense, and he will rebound and push the pace as well. 40 fantasy points as far as I can see in his last 5 games. Upside 8,500. I'll take that all day, every day. Outside of that, I can take a GPP sprig at DeMar DeRozan. Definitely coming on 3 out of his last 5 games. He's put up at least 40 fantasy points. I think this is a decent spot where he could possibly do the same. We saw it last night. Christian Braun last night went off versus the Rockets. Had a very good game for itself. Was the reason why Denver had a small smidgen of a chance in that game. So definitely don't mind going towards DeRozan right over there. And then Keegan, who looks like he has finally found a shot and is playing pretty well over his last several games. At least 20 fantasy points. I will take that from Keegan when I know this is right around what his floor actually really is giving us at least close to 25 fantasy points. We saw that all last season. Took a minute for him to get adjusted with DeRozan being in that lineup. So I do like the upside for possibly going to Keegan, who is a pretty good, solid defender as well. And if that 3-ball falls for him, it's pretty good. Malik Monk, you can look there, but I really just love the upside for De'Aaron Fox here in this position spot. Would be the one I would rather get to, and the one that I want to go to when it comes down to it. Clippers taking on Portland, last game of the night. Over here for them, we already know that Kawhi Leonard is going to be out, so really it's going to be the 1-2 punch to me, which I consider the 1-2 punch for the Clippers, which is going to be James Harden, the facilitator, kicking it out, doing what he has to do, and Zubac going up against Ayton, who plays very little defense. Depending on what Ayton we're going to actually get is going to really dictate on how close this game could possibly be, because they are going to need him to actually do something out there besides what we're getting from Scoot, what we're getting from Shaedon Sharpe, and things like that. Zubac, like him, 7,100. If he just actually paid off, that would be really great for him. Harden, 91. Again, I mean, we got some better guards. Like I just talked about Fox. I just talked about Jalen Green, Tyus Jones in the first game, Devin Booker. So Harden could be a GPP option. Not going to focus or force Harden. You can take a stab at Norman Powell. I don't hate him right there at that spot. And then if you want to just burn your money, done, no Kawhi Leonard in the starting lineup, you can mess with it, but bro, one of the worst fantasy point per minute producers out there. And honestly, if it's not Harden, it's not Zubac, and it's not Powell, I really don't want to mess with anything over there from the Clipper side. On the Portland side of things though, Denny Avdia being out, we know that this right over here, they're going to have to mess around with their starting lineup as well. You don't have Grant, you don't have Avdia, you don't have Clingan, you don't have Robert Williams. So you're kind of dealing with some real big injuries over here for them. You probably could see some of Jabari Walker out here. Played 5 minutes versus Brooklyn in the last game. We do know last season he was getting a ton of minutes. But again, I would expect it to be a lot between Scoot, Ayton, Shaedon Sharpe, and Anthony Simons, and then my boy Kamara, who went out there and played amazing the last time I played this dude. 42.25 fantasy points, has really been coming on in his own. I like him here again in this spot. If they want to keep it close, these young guys are going to have to play very well. Shaedon Sharpe, I do like him for the upside. The minutes, they've been there for him. He's been pretty consistent. As long as the shot is falling, that's just really going to be the big thing for him. And he could definitely give us some good numbers. And then Scoot Henderson, the minutes are ticking back up for him. If they're going, I'm not going to say they're going to give him 39 minutes every night, but if you can at least give me about 30 minutes of Scoot, I know he can facilitate the ball. I know he can score decently out there as well. This could be one of those games where we can get a decent Scoot Henderson game. 5,800, I would take a stab in the chance on him right there again. Nice mid-tier option. If you think you probably could get him low owned, I do like the upside for him, but I'll probably say my favorite play over here is going to be Kamara, just because yeah, he won me some money, but just like the actual upside of what he actually can bring from Portland, and just with young guys. Then of course DeAndre Ayton, it's scary to endorse Ayton, but I am going to endorse it. 6,100, really no backup bigs over there for him, and we've seen it whenever he actually is going to get the minutes and they have no choice but to play him. He does put up some decent numbers, so I will have to have a stab at Ayton as well. All right, guys, like I said, that was ugly, just even going through the slate. Definitely, hopefully you guys were able to get a little something from this. As always, if you guys are not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I do drop over your channel. You want to get my player pool, my cores, my prop plays, the bets, all that good stuff, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon. Good luck to everybody. Play light. Peace.